What's poppin', people? I'm Robert and this is the Crypto Corner. But before we get started, allow me to remind you to smash that notification bell, hit the like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Now on with the video. What's poppin', people, and welcome back to the Crypto Corner. I am Robert and I'm coming back to you with a little bit of Bitcoin news, a couple things that's going on in the world of cryptocurrency. But before we get into that, a word from our sponsor, which is the like button. And if you are a nut milk fan, hit the like button. That means if you like macadamia milk, you like almond milk, soy milk, any of the nut milks, hit the like button. If you're a person who prefers the good old-fashioned cow milk, hit the like button. And if it doesn't really matter which one you have, hit the like button. With that, let's go ahead and just get into some of the news we have on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's weekend price bounce fades even as exchange balances drop. So let's look at what it says here. It says the number of coins held on exchanges has fallen by more than 25,000 in 2 weeks. Guys, that simply means that people are taking their Bitcoin off of exchanges. Why? Because they do not plan to sell. They are not going to sell their Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin's weekend ascent has run out of steam, even though blockchain data and weakness in the US dollar indicate the path of least resistance is to the higher side. The top cryptocurrency by market value is trading near 34,000 at press time, representing a 3% drop on the day, according to CoinDesk 2.0 or CoinDesk 20. The pullback has reversed a significant chunk of the bounce from 32,700 to 36,000 seen in the past 3 days. It comes amid a decline in the number of coins held on exchanges, a bullish development, big time bullish development. Balance held on central exchanges fell to 2.577 million BTC on Sunday, hitting the lowest level since May 16, according to data tracked by Glassnode. Let's get a little bit more of this. The tally has dropped by more than 25,000 BTC in 2 weeks, meaning fewer Bitcoins are now available for sale compared with the second half of June. Investors typically take direct custody of their Bitcoins when expecting a price rise or aiming to generate an extra yield by tokenizing the cryptocurrency on Ethereum's blockchain. People are making moves in Bitcoin. Furthermore, that's not the only sign wealthy investors are stepping up their bargain hunting. So the odds appear stacked in favor of bulls, especially as the dollar is trading weak in the currency markets despite Friday's upbeat U.S. employment data. I mean, people are really losing faith in the U.S. dollar, but that's another story. Bitcoins has mostly moved in the opposite direction to the dollar index since the Federal Reserve surprised markets with its early interest rate hike forecast on June 16. Rate increases make fiat currencies attractive and dilute the appeal of inflation hedges like Bitcoin and gold. Yeah, that's not going to work. DXY, which tracks the greenback's value against major currencies, is currently at 92.14, down a 0.6% from Friday, fourth-month high of 92.74, according to TradingView data. The greenback may suffer a more profound drop if the minutes of the Fed's June meeting, scheduled for release later this week, downplay rate hike prospects. Given that the individual forecasts of Federal Reserve officials were not discussed at last month's FOMC meeting, and Chair Powell played them down, it ought not be surprising if the minutes were not as hawkish as the interest rate dots. Mark Chandler, chief market strategist at Bannockburn Global Forex, said in a blog post published on Sunday. Sorry guys, I couldn't get that Bannockburn for some reason. Anyway, but yeah, people are taking their Bitcoin off exchanges. They are holding it, keeping it safe and secure, going elsewhere, get some yield from it. But they are, I mean, it is a coveted asset. Bitcoin is a coveted asset. But let's look at a little bit of more Bitcoin as compared to Ethereum. It says Bitcoin mining gets easier with a drop in hash rate, but Ethereum's popularity is catching up. And yes, indeed it is. So with that, it says following China's closure of mining farms, if you guys been keeping up, you guys know that China shut down mining in their country. Bitcoin's mining difficulty dropped significantly because the hash rate plunged. Okay. Mining difficulty is the time taken to mine each block, and it dynamically varies depending on the network's total hash rate. On the other hand, Ethereum briefly overtook Bitcoin with more active addresses, and the two are now closely trailing each other. Okay. So yeah, this is where people are saying that there may be a decoupling coming soon. It says Bitcoin is the OG, but advocates of other cryptocurrencies are hoping to challenge the decade-old digital token, which is basically a coin, especially when it comes to Ethereum, Bitcoin's experimental younger brother. And the race between the two is getting closer. Ethereum stepped up its game and briefly had more attractive addresses than Bitcoin this month. That means more people exchanging Ether with each other than those swapping Bitcoin. With numerous tokens being launched for each of these use cases, it is not surprising that ETH has surpassed BTC in terms of active addresses. And over here it says, meanwhile, China's recent clampdown due to the energy concerns created a huge Bitcoin hash rate deficit globally. Even though it may sound like a bad thing, it actually means active miners can mine new coins more conveniently. Yeah, you got to look at it both sides, people. However, the Bitcoin anomaly is said to be short-lived as miners are actively migrating out of China. Experts believe that the setback is temporary and that Bitcoin will emerge more vital than ever before, with other regions offering more affordable and green energy. That's exactly what's going to happen, guys. People are moving right now. I mean, there's some areas here in the States, you know, they're going to move maybe perhaps like Texas, things like that. Then they have some other areas of the world, other regions of the world where the energy would be a lot greener and a lot cheaper. And they're just going to move operations because, hey, if I was in that, I would just give up, you know, the business. I mean, it's very profitable to be mining Bitcoin. So it says, let's see here. Mining for Bitcoin is how new coins are brought into circulation, and it's necessary in order to maintain the ledger on which the entire system is based. It's a process that involves solving math problems. The more people there are mining for Bitcoin, the more difficult the puzzle, and fewer people would result in puzzles being easier. It is denoted by the time taken to mine each block, and it dynamically varies depending on the network's total hash rate. So when China started closing down mining farms, there were fewer people fighting to verify transactions. As a result, Bitcoin's mining difficulty dropped significantly as the hash rate plunged. China contributed 65% of all Bitcoin hash rate in May. Hence, a crackdown has affected the global hash rate by a whopping 40%. The observation of a 28% drop in Bitcoin mining is coinciding with the large exodus of miners from China to regulatory-friendly nations in Europe and North America, explained Subaraj. Okay, so let's get a little bit more. I'll skip down a little bit, and it says Ether was bigger than Bitcoin, even if it was just for a few hours. So it's impossible to gauge how long it will take to get Bitcoin's hash rate back up, but the correction has become an opportunity for Ethereum, the world's second largest cryptocurrency network by market cap. So it says here, Ether's rise suggests that the demand for Bitcoin is faltering as users are now opening up to viable alternatives. According to BitInfo charts, Ethereum briefly overtook Bitcoin with considerably more active addresses on June 28th, and the two are now closely trailing each other. Active addresses simply show us the number of active users or available senders and receivers for a particular token in the network. So that's what we're going to do. I don't want to turn this completely into an Ethereum update, but the story, it does link the two. It talks about Ethereum here and what's going on, but Ethereum just has a lot more use to it. I'm not saying Ethereum is better. I think Bitcoin's number one, Ethereum is number two, obviously, and I think it's going to be that way for at least for the foreseeable future. Could Ethereum overtake Bitcoin? In market cap, it could. Ethereum's supply is larger than Bitcoin's 21 million. But as far as value, that in and of itself, a lower supply is going to drive up the demand, and it's going to be even more coveted. And, it just remains to be seen. it just remains to be seen. People are not going to give up their Bitcoin. It's just not going to happen. They are not going to give up their Bitcoin. It's going to turn into those who have some and those who do not. So that's your Bitcoin update. And I'm going to see you guys on the next one. This has been your crypto commentary.